family, now I'm the one they beg for help. I grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other's business. My family wasn't rich, my father was a mechanic, and my mother worked long hours as a seamstress. We weren't starving, but we lived paycheck to paycheck. I was raised with values of honesty, hard work, and respect. Please subscribe for next story. When I was in college, I met Elena. She was everything I thought I wanted. Beautiful, intelligent, and confident. But most of all, she made me feel like I mattered. We started dating, and for the first time, I felt like my life was headed toward something brighter. At first, her family seemed polite, but I could sense the unspoken tension. They lived in a huge house on the wealthier side of town. Her father was a successful businessman, and her mother loved to flaunt their wealth. Every time I visited, I could feel their judgmental stares. One evening, after dinner at her parents' house, her mother pulled Elena aside, not realizing I could overhear them. "He's a nice boy," her mother whispered, "but he has nothing to offer you. His family is poor. What future will you have with him? You need someone who can give you the life you deserve." Those words cut through me like a knife. I wanted to confront her, but Elena grabbed my hand later and said, "Ignore them. I love you. That's all that matters." For a while, I believed her. But slowly, her parents' poison seeped into her heart. She started comparing me to other men, doctors, lawyers, wealthy sons of family friends. She would say things like, "When will you buy a car like David's? My father thinks you are wasting your time with that small job. I need someone who can take care of me." No matter how hard I worked, it was never enough. The breaking point came when I proposed to her after graduation. I saved for months, bought a modest ring, and poured my heart out. She didn't even smile. She looked at me, then at the ring, and said coldly, "Do you really think I'm going to marry someone like you? My family was right, you are too poor for me." She walked away, leaving me humiliated. A week later, I heard she got engaged to a wealthy businessman's son. I was shattered. I felt worthless, betrayed, and angry. But instead of drowning in self-pity, I made a promise to myself. One day, I will become so successful that the people who rejected me will regret every word they said. The rise. I worked like a man possessed. I took 2 jobs, studied at night, and invested every penny I could. I taught myself about business, real estate, and stocks. For years, I lived humbly, putting all my energy into growth. Slowly, things began to change. My investments paid off. I started a small company, and within a decade, I owned multiple businesses. By my mid-30s, I was a multimillionaire. Success didn't come easy. I had sleepless nights, betrayals, and setbacks. But the memory of Elena's cruel words and her parents' disdain pushed me forward. The fall of the crowd. One afternoon, while driving through town in my luxury car, I stopped at a cafe. To my surprise, Elena walked in. She looked different, tired, stressed, and much older than I remembered. Her once sparkling eyes now carried shadows. She spotted me and froze. Slowly, she walked over, forcing a smile. "Wow, you look different," she said. I nodded politely. "Life has been good. How about you?" Her eyes flickered with pain. She confessed that her wealthy husband had lost everything in a failed business venture. They were drowning in debt, and her family, once so proud, was now struggling to keep their house. I sipped my coffee and listened. She finally whispered, "I made a mistake. I should have chosen you. You've done so well for yourself, and now I don't even know how we're going to survive." It was almost surreal. The same woman who once told me I wasn't good enough was now admitting she needed me. The sweet revenge. A week later, her father reached out to me through mutual contacts. He wanted a business loan to save his company. The same man who once said I was too poor now sat in my office, humbled, asking for help. I looked at him, remembering every insult, every condescending look. For a moment, I considered helping, but then I thought of the years of pain they caused me. "I'm sorry," I said, keeping my voice calm. "I don't do business with people who once thought I wasn't worth their daughter's time. Good luck." His face turned pale. He left in silence, his pride shattered. Elena called me one last time, crying, begging for forgiveness, asking if we could start over. I smiled and told her the truth. "You said I was too poor for you. Now you're too broken for me. Goodbye, Elena." The lesson. That night, as I sat in my mansion overlooking the city, I realized something. My revenge wasn't about wealth or rejection anymore. It was about proving to myself that I was always enough. Their judgment didn't define me, my resilience did. And nothing tasted sweeter than watching those who once belittled me come crawling back. After rejecting Elena and her father's request for help. I thought that was the end of the story. But life has its own way of weaving unfinished threads. The return of old wounds. Months later, I was invited as a keynote speaker at a business summit in the city. I almost refused, but something in me wanted to stand there to be seen as the man I had become. As I walked into the grand hall, wearing a tailored suit, people greeted me with respect. Cameras flashed, journalists scribbled, and aspiring entrepreneurs leaned forward to hear my story. While I was backstage, preparing to speak, I saw her again. Elena. She was sitting in the back row with her mother, looking nervous and out of place among the city's elite. Their expensive clothes from years ago had been replaced by modest, almost outdated dresses. When our eyes met, she quickly looked away. But her mother, the same woman who once whispered I was not good enough, now stared at me with a face filled with regret. The speech that cut deeper than any blade. I walked up to the podium. The room fell silent. My name is Daniel, I began. Some of you know me as the founder of Horizon Enterprises. But not everyone knows where I started. I wasn't born into wealth. I was told to my face that I was too poor, too unworthy, to build a future with someone I loved. A hush fell over the crowd. I didn't mention names, but Elena and her family knew exactly who I was talking about. But I worked. I fought. I sacrificed. And today, standing here before you, I am proof that no one has the right to decide your worth. Not your background, not your bank account, not even the people you love most. The audience erupted in applause. Some people stood. I saw Elena bury her face in her hands, and her mother's eyes glisten with tears. The final encounter. After the summit, Elena approached me in the parking lot. Her voice shook. Daniel, please. I know I don't deserve it, but we're losing everything. My father's company is gone. My husband abandoned me. My mother is ill. I have no one left to turn to. I was wrong about you. I was blind. I should have chosen you. Her words were drenched in desperation. For a moment, the younger version of me, the boy who once begged for her love, stirred inside. But that boy was gone. I was no longer the poor kid seeking approval. I was a man who had built his empire from ashes. I looked her in the eye and said